What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Hockeytown University. You're here with us once again on a brand new episode. Here, Zach, your host, and with your lovely co-hosts as well, Derek and Matt. What's up, boys? Derek, you got a shiny, bright face now. What's up, buddy?
Oh my God, buddy, good to see you. I upgraded everything. Oh my God, I paid $0. It was great. I got a little light, a new camera, and a stupid little mic now that I don't have to touch. It's perfect. Maybe everyone can actually hear me now.
You sound really good, buddy.
Thank you.
Leslie, your face is shining bright as well. What's going on, bud?
Derek has the definition of a glow up right now. He is looking cute right now. You can see every pore in his skin. I feel like when I was back in middle school and we had like the HD TVs that just came out and you could see like every nose hair in the actors on screen. So yeah, he looks pretty good. And I also did get a ring light too, so I don't have to use my lamp anymore and have one side of my face illuminated and the other half dark. So that's good that we don't have that goofy situation going on anymore. But yeah, not a whole lot going on over here. Looking forward to going down to Toledo to see my good buddy for his birthday. You do have a birthday present coming to you. I'm not going to disclose what it is yet on this podcast, but I think you'll be very excited when you open it. So yeah, that'll be a fun weekend. That's about all I have on the docket. So I think we can go ahead and get into it.
Leslie spoiled my secret about when my birthday is, but we'll still keep it.
I never said dates. I never said dates.
I know you did a good job at that, but
you can remain anonymous.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump in. We're gonna go ahead and start off with some Red Wings news. Red Wings news. Around the league news. Wings versus Penguins yesterday night. And then we'll discuss overall, and then we'll discuss the standings update and what's upcoming for the Red Wings schedule this week. Wow, guys.
You okay over there, bud?
I don't know.
Dude,
I think it's
podcast starts, you just forget English.
Am I distracting you too much?
Yeah, it's Derek.
I broke him.
All right. Like Leslie said, let's hop right into it. Red Wings news. Edvinsson was officially recalled, and he is no longer an emergency call-up, but was a healthy scratch last night. They wanted to play under the 9 games before burning an ELC year. You guys siding with that? Quick yes or no?
Why not? It can't hurt really that bad right now in this situation. I'm pretty sure Edvinsson's going to be a part of the team after his contract comes up anyways. So might as well get him brought up into the league. We're going to have him up here all next year too. Can't hurt right now to just start it up, get the boy rolling, get him used to the ice. It'll help the Red Wings too.
Leslie?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's fine. I get why they're doing it. They don't want to burn a year. I know now there's some players who have been signed just kind of right out of their ELC and they burn off a year because they're just that talented. I know Cale Makar did it, and there's been some other players, but he's the only one that comes to mind as an example. But to me, that doesn't really seem like a very good argument to do it because when they come off their ELC, they're going to be an RFA anyways. So, yeah, you'll have to pay them the big money, but it's not going to be a dramatically huge contract. So it kind of just comes down to a matter of preference. I think at this point in the season, you don't really need him to play every game. It's not like we're in a playoff race. If he was really that good and he was chipping in, offense and defense going the other way, I could see it, but this team really is not going anywhere anytime soon, so I'm fine with it, and I'm excited to see him. He should be full-time next year, so I'm excited to see that, and this is just a nice little glimpse, a nice little treat for us at the end of the season.
Yeah. Quickly for me, I'm cool with it. It is what it is. I still keeps him under a cheap contract, but like you guys said, his contract situation, even if we did burn a year, it's not going to change the dollar amount that significantly. So, yeah, I'm okay with it. But Lalone did mention that he will be playing Thursday. So that was good to hear. Other news, Chiasson, Chiarot, and Zadina were out for Tuesday's game. I believe that he did say that Chiarot was going to make an appearance for Thursday's game, so be on the lookout for that. Taro Hirose was recalled on emergency loan Tuesday. He was sent back down today. Poor Taco. I should pull up to see how much time he played, but I don't have that pulled up, so if someone wants to pull that up in the meantime, I'm pretty sure he didn't get a lot of playing time, but we'll discuss more about that.
I'm pretty sure it was pretty sad.
Yeah. So, but in other news as well, what an exciting day yesterday. It was ELC signing day for Steve Yzerman, I guess, and just bringing people to North America and to the Grand Rapids Griffins in general. If you guys didn't see the mini clip that I posted yesterday, go ahead and take a look at that. That breaks that down a little bit more. But yes, Carter Mazur, Marco Kasper, William Wallinder, all making the jump to the Grand Rapids Griffins. Thoughts, boys? Derek, I'll let you go first since you weren't here on the last episode, and Leslie and I kind of covered a little bit about those players. So let's hear from you, bud.
Oh man, I'm just excited to see this. We just brought up all our talent all at once. I'm just pulling up all their stats right now. Like, I mean, obviously, we have 18-year-olds through 20-year-olds coming to our team. Like, it's crazy to see that right now, especially with how young these guys are. Their talent is just so raw. It's just insane what they're about to do for this team. I really hope it's just going to be a win-win-win situation at this point, just because of how much talent we're bringing up. And I'm hoping all three of them just make an appearance at least an appearance next year, at the minimum. If they want to come up for the full year, we'll see how that goes. I don't know if I desperately want Kasper up there right away, but at the same time, he's already played multiple years now over in the SHL, so he's used to the big boys knocking him around on a bigger ice. So let's see how all of them are relate over to here now. So I'm excited.
Did you watch that video that Leslie put in our group chat, Derek? Just curious if you did or not.
I'm going to say no because I was at work like a normal human being.
Your remote job. Come on, dude. No, that's okay. No, I was just curious if you did. I got the pleasure of watching that today. That was a really good video. If you guys don't follow Ice Hockey Gifts on Twitter and also on YouTube, go ahead and do that. They, whoever that person is, post some really good stuff about all the players that we have from the Swedish Hockey League. But Leslie, also thoughts from you, buddy, on all three players. I know Carter Mazur's your boy. You're high on all of them. So I want to hear from you as well, bud.
I mean, anyone who's listened to any episode of this show knows that I am infatuated with all three of these players. I mean, Marco Kasper, it was actually kind of funny. He threw us all a curveball there for a second. We really thought that he would stay there and finish up school. I think he just kind of looked at himself in the mirror one day and he realized, I just played in a grown men's league and I had an incredible season and I bullied all these guys. I mean, you guys can see that from the highlight video that I shared. I bullied all these guys. Why am I still here in Sweden? I got to get on the first flight to North America and show everybody what I got. Obviously, that's a little bit of a joke of what happened, but I think what the real reason is he kind of realized that now was a good time to come over because Grand Rapids, you can check me on this, Zach, but I believe they still have about 9 or 10 games left in the season. I think he just realized that he wanted to come over and get used to that smaller North American ice before training camp starts because that will give him a leg up on the competition. And so he's not going into training camp and just being like, oh my god, this rink is so small. Why the hell did I stay in Sweden for an extra month to finish up school? I should have been over. So I think he's just preparing himself for the next year, which it could be in Detroit, it could be in Grand Rapids. That's really ultimately all up to him and what the coaches decide. Who else was it? Oh, yeah, Carter Mazur. So I think it's pretty clear from watching his highlights this year, he's not going to prove anything else at Denver. There's no reason for him to stay. I know he wants to finish up school. You can always go back to school and finish up. I mean, it's never too late to do that. I think that he will probably spend the whole year, maybe at least most of the year in Grand Rapids, and just try and bring back that goal-scoring prowess that he had in college. I really hope he keeps that up, and that translates to the next level of hockey, because he's going to be a really solid piece for us. And Wallinder, I mean, this dude, he's a grown man. I mean, he's like the size of a tree. And there was also another video that Ice Hockey Gifts posted that I don't think I actually shared with you boys, but he looks solid. I mean, he's got big size, and for his size, he skates like the wind, and he's low-key got some dangles. So I'm excited to see him in Grand Rapids. I think out of the three, I'd be shocked if he makes the team out of the camp, just based on the fact that he's a defenseman. They take longer to develop, and plus, playing on a smaller ice surface, I feel is a much bigger task for a defenseman, since they kind of have to play both sides of the game. I know that Marco Kasper is a defensive forward too, but the defense is really only one part of his game. Like, Wallinder has to focus on defense the most out of anything. So, yeah, I'm excited for all three of these guys. I think GR, maybe they're going to be a little stacked next year. Maybe they won't be as bad as they were this year. So, any fans that we have in Grand Rapids, you should be excited for this, because we're going to have a hell of a team next year.
Oh, I can't wait to go watch the Grand Rapids Griffins next year. It is just going to be a beautiful sight to watch. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I'm going to have to make a couple trips up there myself to go catch some games, if all three aren't already with the Detroit Red Wings at that time. But, yeah, no, I'm with you guys, majority of what you said, Leslie, as well. Marco Kasper, I think you can make the argument that while it's better for him to probably play with the Grand Rapids Griffins at first, I think that his style of play could translate. I don't think that he would really need that much time to adjust to the smaller ice, versus over in Europe in Swedish Hockey League. Wallinder, yeah, that's someone who's definitely going to have to work on his defensive skills, especially being on the right side, if that's where they choose to put him. I know that's where he was playing in the Swedish Hockey League, on the top line as well, so that's something that you can note on there as well. And then they just re-signed, or not re-signed, but they signed Tuo Misto, who's a right-handed defenseman as well. So there's your top two righties for the Grand Rapids Griffins for at least next year. So that's good to see. And then Carter Mazur, yeah, maybe I would not be surprised if he were to get a game or two this season, just to see what he could do. Only because he's already in America. It's going to take Marco Kasper and William Wallinder time to get here. Carter Mazur already knows how to play in North America, the style of hockey it is. We're missing Michael Rasmussen. Chiasson's still injured, so maybe we can see if Carter Mazur can put up some type of work like those two players do. Who knows?
Yeah, something I forgot to mention in my little tirade is Carter Mazur is actually making his debut tonight with Grand Rapids. So it's definitely possible, but tonight is his first game. So
Leslie's breaking news. I didn't even know that.
I didn't either. What time did we play?
Twitter like an hour ago, and I had it in my notes, and I almost forgot to bring it up. So,
and here I am asking you before the pod if you got any topics to go over, and you just dropping bombs on us.
Like, nothing until the pod.
Keep the boys guessing.
Yes,
Never let
he
them know
does.
your next move.
Continue on, though. My apologies for cutting you off. Or is that it?
No, that was my complete and final thought. That's all I wanted to share was just, he's making his debut tonight. And what you said about him joining the Wings, it's possible. I mean, this team is riddled with injuries, so it really wouldn't be all that far-fetched to see him here. But that really kind of depends on him. I mean, if he's just lighting it up in the first few games of his Grand Rapids tenure, you may see him. So don't hold your breath, but you may see him.
So the other thing that I wanted to bring up too, Derek's holding his breath. I like that,
Derek
buddy. There you go. But the other thing that I wanted to point out too, I think that it's smart. I bet you Kasper, what he did is that he saw what William Wallinder did, and he was like, well, he just signed his contract, so does that mean he's going? And he was probably like, yeah, but I'm going. And he's like, all right, dude, I'm coming. Hey, like, I want to go with you.
Don't leave me.
Exactly. So the only other thing that I can think of for the reason why they're both making the jump right now when there's only 8 games, I did look it up, Leslie. It is 8 games left. They play 72 games total in the American Hockey League. They played 64, so tonight's their 65th. So yeah. So the only other reason that I can see for them coming now is so that way they can get acclimated to North America. Neither one of them have been to a prospect training camp. They never made the jump over because it was like, what's the point? They didn't.
Right.
Actually, I could be wrong. They went to the.
I think part of that is also the SHL season is starting before the NHL season starts, so they may have already been not playing games, but they might have had preseason there. So they were already signed to Rogla, so that could be why.
Well, yeah. So I'm not saying that they went to the actual training camp, but they did the prospects training camp probably when they got drafted. So that's what I meant by that. So my apologies if I confused some of you. I was
doing. Yeah.
I mean, we also got to remember. I was gonna say, we got to remember, one of them's also still 18 years old. So back when he got drafted, I'm pretty sure he was 17. So
Yes, correct.
at that age, you definitely don't want to see them up there and like get a Grand Rapids Griffins, even though he got sent to the SHL, but pure men's hockey league over there. But like you guys said, that might accumulated enough to actually come and play in the league that he'd be needing to play in now. So we have to see on that one.
Yeah, I think they both wanted to get acclimated with North America in general because they haven't spent a lot of time here. So it's more of like, let's get them familiar with the city. Let's get them familiar with the state in general. Let's not give them Jonathan Bergeron situation where he goes to a Grand Rapids, Ohio instead of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Did you guys hear about that?
That's
did,
funny.
yeah.
Maybe Derek didn't know about that, but yeah, he accidentally drove to Grand Rapids, Ohio instead of Michigan one time.
That's a long drive for that game.
Oh yeah, poor boy. Poor boy. All right.
I wonder if he played that night.
He's probably really tired. I'm sure he did. Probably wasn't his
do we
best
know-
game either.
Do we know if Grand Rapids, Ohio has a hockey team possibly? Maybe he could have skated for them.
That'd be pretty
No,
funny.
at that point, just go to Toledo. Just come to my home.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll treat you nice here. So,
Good enough.
all right, let's continue on. Let's go to around the league news. For those of you that do not know, Lego Rocks 99. He's a YouTuber. He posts some great videos. He was also on the Grindline podcast for an episode with them talking about Vancouver trading for Philip Hronek. He does a lot of great work. So he released a YouTube video going over the Evgeny Kuznetsov of the Washington Capitals and him wanting out. And I guess he's been wanting out since the 2021 season. He wasn't the first one to report it, but he came out with the video. So I just wanted to say that and give him a little bit of the credit for the news. But I want to ask you boys, would you guys trade for Evgeny Kuznetsov? 30-year-old center?
I mean, heck, after watching Perron last night, yeah. I'm starting to feel like the little bit more age you get on them is a little bit better with the flavor at this point. Like, Perron got a hat trick. Like, let's keep going with that. Let's get this 30-year-old in here and let's see what he can do. I mean, heck, last 2 seasons he's been killing it. Like, he's on his literally best season this year in the NHL. Maybe just the older you get, the more ripe you get. I don't know. But at this point, he's just been continuously doing better and better. And he has a nice little relationship with Stevie over there. So I'd like to see what kind of magic we could pull to get him over to us. Maybe it'd be a little bit of a price tag, but at the same time, it'd be something worth looking into, especially.
I do this all the time, and I'm sorry, Derek. I probably should at least lay some stats down for you guys before I ask you guys any questions about these players. For if you guys don't already know the Kuzzy stats on them, and I'm sorry, I'm just taking my sweet old time as I pull this up. But his contract, like I said, he's 30 years old. After the season, he's got 2 more years. He comes in at $7.8 million. For those of you that are wondering, it does come in with a $2 million signing bonus every year for the next 2 years as well. So if the Red Wings did trade for this, they would have to give him $2 million cash up front every single year. So continuing on with that, his stats for this season so far, 53 points in 73 games, 12 goals, 41 assists. The season before, he put up 78 points in 79 games. His highest season total ever was 83 points in 79 games for the 17-18 season when they won the Stanley Cup. And then in the Stanley Cup, he put up 32 points in 24 games.
Just to put it out there, I realized I was talking about the wrong person. Sorry, everybody.
Run it back. Run it back, Derek. I can't take it out now. I can't edit that part. I'm sorry.
Oh, that was a long rant for no reason, everybody. I'm sorry.
Well, it's a good thing I went over this guy, huh?
Yeah, thank you. Right as you said Washington, I realized I was thinking of someone on Tampa Bay.
My goodness, my dude. All right, your head's in the gutter. So Evgeny Kuznetsov, 30-year-old center, go.
Alrighty, so I know who we're talking about now. So yes, I still would trade for him, even though that stupid signing bonus does suck. Didn't know about that one originally, actually. I just knew about the $7.8 million. At the same time, I was just kind of hoping, like I told you guys the other day, if we did take him like that, let's see how much we get the Caps to retain some of that contract. I know it's a long shot, but at the same time, still a useful person we could have on team. And I am not dissing the age comment I made, because I still feel like that's the sweet insultiness I needed in that conversation.
before you go, Leslie, I'm sorry. For reference, the Washington Capitals also only have $7.3 million in cap space for next year. So they're definitely in a cap crunch. And they have to sign 5 players. Well, actually, more. It would be 6. They only have 17 contracts signed, and the roster goes up to 23. So, yeah. Leslie, sorry. Go ahead, bud.
If you would have asked me this question 2 years ago, I would have said yes in a heartbeat. It's going to be an unfortunate no for me. I would probably say yes if he had more than 12 goals. Because what's the one thing that we need on this team, Derek? Zach? I'll let you guys answer.
A goal scorer, yeah.
Yeah, what's the most important thing in the NHL? Scoring goals.
Assists.
How many forwards are close to 30 goals on the team? 1, Dylan Larkin. So I'm gonna say no. Also, I mean that's an all right point total. Like he's definitely more of a playmaker, and that's what he's been for his whole career. Really, he's a center. You would expect his center to play a very solid two-way defensive game. He's minus 19 on the season. So that's a little bit of a red flag for me. And at that type of number, I can't justify trading for a guy who's minus 19 and barely has double-digit goals and paying him, what is it, $2 million up front and 7.8 for the next 2 seasons. That's going to be a hard no for me.
I think that's a little
now, I
harsh
do understand.
That's a little harsh to put the plus minus just on him. I think that's the whole team, though, too.
Now, what I will say is I've watched a few Capitals games, and
I know you have. Ripping on Mantha the other episode.
Yeah.
My God.
well, you want to. It's funny you bring up Mantha because this is going to be a little topic of effort. Kuzzy doesn't really look like he's trying out there. Now, that could just be based on the fact that he doesn't want to be there anymore. I've heard allegedly he's been asking for a trade the past 2 seasons. I don't know if there's really any truth to that. I mean, Kuzzy's come out and said himself that that's total baloney, which I don't know. I don't know who to believe in that whole saga, but yeah, I'm going to say no to this one. I could see why people would want to go ahead and trade for him. Like, if you want to make some additions, you would really want to do it before free agency because it is not looking pretty, this free agency pool. I mean, I don't remember who said it, so I unfortunately can't give them the credit, but someone said that Michael Bunting is going to be the most coveted free agent this summer. And that's not a sentence you want to hear. So it's a far cry from last year when Johnny Gaudreau was on the market after a 100-point season. So I'm going to say no to this one. I think he'd make a decent third-line center on a playoff team. But, yeah, if he's going to be a third-line center at best, maybe he's a low-tier second center. I don't want him at that number.
I'm going to say yes, and not just to go against Leslie, but I'm saying yes only because if the rumor is true that he wants out, I think of a similar situation as like a Patrick Kane, who wanted out, forced the team their hand, and, you know, the Rangers basically got Patrick Kane for free. A second-round pick, some cap retained. If the Red Wings, if he truly wanted out and Washington does not want him anymore, and if they can't, and if you're someone who does need help at the center, or at least your 2C, Andrew Kopp hasn't really done too well at the 2C. Granted, I'm still someone who wants to give him until next year as well to play the 2C. I want to see if he can do better, because I know they had that surgery. If the Washington Capitals said, we could retain some cap, or we will give you something to take him, that even sweetens it a little bit more. But I look at the Red Wings roster. I've shown you guys what I think that their opening night roster could look like next year without free agent signings or without trades. If you're just using what we have in our system right now, I think there's definitely room for an Evgeny Kuznetsov on this team. Leslie, you're right. He could be a really high-end 3C. But I think if you don't feel comfortable with Andrew Kopp being the 2C anymore, having Evgeny Kuznetsov for 2 years isn't that bad. And while the goal production isn't there, he still puts up assists. Andrew Kopp can finally start scoring. Give him another winger that can score. Let him be the facilitator. Let him pass the puck around, the playmaker. Because I think he's pretty much always been that way, right? as like the 2C, and then you had Backstrom as the 1C. So he's always been a 2C player. And I think if you're doing that for 2 years, and if it all went that way, I would do it. But I see where you're coming from as well, Leslie. Like, the cap, the age, the production definitely scares you. But we know this is a Washington Capitals team that has never really done well at playing defense. They have Alexander Ovechkin, the number one guy who literally does not play defense. He was scrutinized for so long in the league for never playing defense because he was just a goal-scoring machine. They got Anthony Mantha from us. We know he doesn't play defense. I'm looking at their defense right now. John Carlson, he's getting older. He's 33 years old. He was always a goal scorer. He plays good defense. Not saying that he plays bad. They got Nick Jensen, and then everyone else is young, and that's it. Their goaltending isn't really that great either. So that's for the plus minus. I can't just put that on Kuzzy. But I hear what you're saying as well. So two yeses and a no.
You're saying... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm done. Go ahead.
Okay. So I hear what you're saying. Like, yeah, he's always been a playmaker. He's set up goals a lot. That's kind of just like been his game. That's cool if you want to put him on the team and have him set up goals. Who's going to finish those goals though? There's
Larkin
no one on
with
the
100 goals at the end of the season.
Larkin's going to finish. So you're going to have him playing the same line as Larkin. They're both centers. Do you see what I'm saying here?
It's going to get a little weird.
Okay, you can give him Andrew Kopp as a winger. Andrew Kopp has, 5 goals this year? Yeah, it's not going to work if you put him with guys who aren't scorers. Honestly, this may sound crazy because he's shown no indication that he could do this, but if you put Kuzzy with Zadina, I could see his goal scoring produce a lot more. I really could. Like, the mark for him would be 20 goals. But, of course, he's never really shown the potential to do that, but I think Kuzzy is a guy who's so good at setting up plays that if you put him with a guy who has, raw talent and has untapped potential, they could possibly get to where you need him to be. So
now I can ask you the same question in reverse though. When was the last time the Red Wings had a center other than Larkin that was as good as Kuzzy or Larkin?
Zetterberg?
I guess Zetterberg, yeah. Zetterberg.
So we don't really... Like, I feel bad for our wingers all the time because they don't have the centers to be the playmakers for them to give them those goals.
We've also been using spare parts for the last 5 years, so that's kind of an unfair argument because we saw the state of the team when Ken Holland left. But I hear what you're saying. Shit, now you're making me come around to you. I still don't know if I would want to do it at that cap hit, to be honest.
No, and that's okay. No, and just here, let's just finish it off because we're kind of going too far into.
We're ranting hard about something that might not happen.
The price to get him was to give Washington a first or second round pick. I'm probably not going to do it, but if they said that it's cheaper and they retain some cap, then I would do that. Would that make you feel a little bit better?
I would say yes to that in a heartbeat.
Okay.
I'm not paying, though, $10 million for a third-line center since you guys had to say that so many times. If that was what they're going to do, oh my God, please no. Not a $10 million third-line center. We do not need that.
No, we do not. So, okay, let's continue on. Around the league news still. The Canadian Hockey League on Twitter announced that the Memorial Cup will be held in Saginaw, Michigan for the 2024 playoffs. The Saginaw Spirit will host the Memorial Cup in 2024, the first time the franchise will host the event. It will also be the first time that the Memorial Cup is held in the United States since the WHL Spokane Chiefs hosted the event in 1998, and the first time ever an American team in the OHL hosts the event. And so tomorrow, Thursday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, a press conference will be held at the Dow Event Center in Saginaw and be streamed live on CHL TV. Leslie has a love-hate relationship with Saginaw. He already made that very clear to us in the group chat. I don't know what they ever did to him, but I think that's huge news just in general.
Saginaw is a beautiful city filled with lovely people, and it has a booming cultural center. And it's the crown jewel of Michigan. So I don't know where.
Don't let him fool you. He literally just Googled all that stuff as he said it.
Oh my God! Let me go get the text up, and I'll just show the camera.
My phone is completely off and locked.
So, in general, I just think this is huge for the United States. Like I said, since 1998 that we've had this tournament here, so that's been 25 years. That's a long time. So I think that's big. And for us in our home state, I might go to that.
Zach was very happy when he told us about this. Probably the breaking news of the day. Probably for the week, I would say, for him, which is surprising what happened yesterday.
It gives us a good opportunity to see that talent that year, though, right? I think that would be really cool to go see, like, these young kids before they get drafted.
I would like to see, like, the high-end raw talent of the OHL. That'd be kind of interesting to watch.
Yeah, let's make a day trip out of Sag Nasty. Leslie's like, no, I hate that smelly place.
Again, everything Zach is saying is alleged. It is not verifiable. I never said these things. And you'll have to get a court date with me to say otherwise.
I'll send you pictures, Zach.
I'll be making short clips out of your text messages, Leslie. Don't you worry.
Those texts were never sent, and if they were allegedly sent, they will be deleted by the end of the day.
All right. Let's go ahead and kick things off with the Red Wings versus the Pittsburgh Penguins yesterday. As we record, to remind you guys, it is Wednesday night. It is 8:24 p.m. for us right now. We are 31 minutes into the recording, for those of you that are now looking down at the clock as I say that. So, weird. I know. But yeah, let's go ahead and kick it off. Red Wings win 7-4. Who would have thought? I said they were going to lose 4-0.
Oh, I bet way against them. I'm not going to lie. I lost money because the Red Wings won. I'm actually really happy I lost money for once.
Leslie said this once too. He's like, so what you guys are saying is whatever you guys say, just do the opposite because that seems to happen, right? Yes.
Literally every time.
I really need to put a bet in because I never actually act on that advice. I could probably be talking to you on my yacht right now. So maybe I should listen to myself more.
You could be paying for all of our recording sessions, bro. Come on, man. Don't be stingy with
will
your
not be
yacht.
happening. That's not in my contract.
I mean, we could be doing this from a yacht, though.
There's an idea.
So other than that, Daddy Perron scores a hat trick in the third period. He's able to give a puck to each one of his kids. I don't know if you guys saw that Instagram post this morning, but that made my heart warm. It was really nice to see that he was able to leave a puck for each one of his kids out in the morning before they went off to school. And he's like, I never thought I'd be able to do this one day. It's his eighth hat trick in his career. Like, dude.
That's very cool. Yeah.
Like, how was he think that he might get the chance to do that? It's been years since in his career, and he's gotten so many hat tricks. Now he has 3 kids. It's like, yes! Goals created.
He's not getting any younger. Well, I mean, Derek, come on. Did you think going into every game that, like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go get a hat trick? Well,
Heck
you probably did. Nasty.
Did I do it? No, but I hoped.
That's the kind of attitude that we want on this podcast, Derek. I like it. Keep bringing the energy. So, Larkin also posts 1 goal and 2 assists. That also came in the third period, along with Daddy Perron's 3 goals. Sorry. Seider gets 2 assists. Also, he had a fantastic game overall. I don't know if you guys noticed how much he was inserting himself into the offense. Like, just jumping into the plays and everything. Like, he looked really good. So, my question to you guys is, would you rather see Seider or Walman be the offensive defenseman on that pairing?
Ooh, that's a tough question
That is
because
a really good one.
they're
It
really
really-
both offensive minded.
I stumbled myself writing that question down today.
Yeah,
You're
that's
telling
interesting.
me.
I think I'd maybe rather choose Seider just because I think compared to Walman, that guy's our franchise defenseman. He could be the next Victor Hedman. You're already seeing flashes of it right now. I think I'd rather choose him, but that doesn't mean that, Walman has to turn into like Ole Mata, who is sneaky offensive too. But yeah, I think with both of them being offensive minded, it's working for them, so they don't need to change it. But just on your hypothetical, I think I'd rather have Seider.
Yeah, I'm down for Seider too, honestly, with how much he breens up and how much we keep seeing him go hard down in the corners. He works the board so well. And the fact is, you just constantly hear his name from the announcer's mouth every time because he, like you said, he inserts himself into the play and he does exactly what he's supposed to do when he needs to do it. He doesn't have too many mistakes. Sometimes he gets caught up down there when he shouldn't, but that's what happens when you're an offensive defenseman. You're going to get caught in situations that you're not supposed to be, but he's doing the best with the situation at hand. And I would have to pick him over Wallman in this hypothetical situation, even though I would love to see both of them obviously produce like they're supposed to.
Yeah, and even in last night's game, you saw it that they both were doing it. So they both cover for each other very well. It's great, and I love the fact that they're both kind of like switching on and off. And you don't really have to say it like that, but like when someone has the opportunity, it's almost like that they have that telepathy power to be like, just go do it, and then like you know what I mean. But the one thing that I will say is, I think I would choose Cider as well, and I think a lot of people are gonna think that like that's a bias thing, and it's like it's not. I just think that Cider has a little bit better the offensive talent production that could be put into place. Nothing against Walman, but I think it's because of Cider's size that gives him that advantage over Walman. I love what Walman brings to the table, though. He is very slick with the puck. He knows how to be discreet, if you will. He knows how to get people out of their boots, out of their skates with those dangles. So, so I'm going to go with Cider, and I think I would peg Walman more as the playmaker, but with the silky mitts. And then there's Cider with just the big lug just going in and then just crashing the net,
I mean, that big body is very helpful when you're going up against people who are at max 5'10", 180 pounds. It'll work for you, especially with those hands he has and his body and his speed. He gets around people and he just touches them. They fall over. It's a nice little thing. I'm hoping we get the same thing with Edvinsson here.
Yeah, no, and that would be interesting too. So, and then like we alluded to as well, the future when we saw Simon Edvinsson playing with Cider, for that little bit, those couple of minutes that they did that one game that he got to play last time. So, yeah, it would be really scary just to see both of them on the back end, and you see them both just bum rushing because they're the ones that were closest to the puck, and it's like a 2-on-1, just two 6'6", 6'8" players just coming right at you.
You just leave the puck at that point. It's like, okay, you take it. I'm not dying for the team today.
Nope. It's all you, goalie.
It's like, good luck.
Good luck, buddy. You're gonna need it.
So let's go ahead and continue on. The Wings looked really good in the first. They scored 3 goals. They didn't let any in. They led the way into the second period like that.
I mean, heck, the first and third were amazing. What happened in the second?
That's what I was about to get into. The second period, the Pens just took advantage of the Red Wings. And to answer your question, Derek, what happened to the Red Wings? Well, they gave up 5 penalties to the Pittsburgh Penguins. And at one point, it was a 5-on-3 power play situation, and I think someone can point me out if I'm wrong, but I believe that they converted on both those power plays. If not, then the second one came right after.
I think they had 2 power play goals, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was like back to back.
Yeah. So, and then one thing to discuss about that second period as well.
My favorite topic.
Lalone doing a coach's challenge, losing the coach's challenge, and getting kicked out. So I got to ask you guys, though, before we get into that. So the puck was underneath Ned's skate or pad, however you want to look at it as. We all saw the replay. We all saw the review. The stick of the opposing player, pushed him in slightly and then pushed his whole entire body around. Did you guys think that was a good goal or not? Just give me a yes or no.
Nope.
I say no.
I would have to agree with Lalone. That was not a goal.
So, thoughts on Lalone being kicked out of the game? Because he had not nice words to the ref.
Oh, he had I'm pretty sure someone might have a little sneak peek into what he said. Leslie?
Well, so
don't repeat it. Do not repeat it.
I'd like to preface this by saying, if there's anyone out there who has their kids listening to us, take the video away from them right now at this point. But also, I also want to say that Lalonde is over 3 in coaches' challenges. So do with that information what you will. I think last night's challenge was 100% justified based on the context. But I'm not a lip reading expert. I've watched a lot of bad lip reading videos, so I kind of feel like I have an idea of how to do it. But I'm going to take a crack at it.
Please don't use the actual words.
Don't use the actual words. That's why I gave a warning. Okay, fine. I won't use the actual words.
Thank you.
What the F is that BS? What the F is goalie interference? What the F? What the F is going on here? What the F is going on? That is the best that I could come up with. Of course, we don't have audio from him, but I feel like it's pretty spot on. And he's very justified. I don't think he went hard enough at the refs because, holy hell, what even is goalie interference anymore, boys?
Oh, would you like to know? I pulled it up just for this topic. What is goalie interference?
I'd like to think that, I've been watching hockey for a while since I was a little wee lad in elementary school. You would think after watching the game for that long, I would get a feel of what the rules are and kind of just like what goes on in the game and how it's officiated and how it's supposed to be. I, to this day, do not know what goalie interference actually is and what it looks like.
Let Derek read it for you.
I got you. For a little insider for everybody for back in the day, goalie interference. The rule was introduced in 1991-92 season. Simply, a penalty is issued when an attacking skater makes contact with the goaltender, impeding, limiting, or altogether eliminating his ability to protect the net to stop the puck. So, basically, we see a player pushing the goalie's pad into the net. Was it going to go in without him pushing? I think that's the reason they went back and forth on this call. But at the same time, it doesn't matter. According to the rules, as long as he didn't touch it, it would have been a good goal. Whoever it was pushed him in. You could even see the guy's stick, like, all the way in the net after he just pushed the pad in. Like, it doesn't matter at that point. Like, it's supposed to be no goal. The refs should know that. It's a basic rule. Like, you can't touch the goalie, can't do anything to impede the puck and where it's going. Just let it roll in by itself. It would have been a goal. We can't say no to that. I love the little kick save that he had at the end. Got some great control of his feet in the net there. Whipped that boy out, but it was in the net at that time. If it was because he got pushed in, we won't really know now because, obviously, they called it a good goal anyways.
Yeah, so thus creating the Red Wings to go onto the penalty kill once again. And luckily, the Pittsburgh Penguins did not convert on that. But, yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good coach's challenge regarding Lalone getting kicked out. Good for him. I thought it was pretty cool to see him get out of the game because he thought it was BS. And I thought it was kind of BS, too. I thought that was a bogus call. But I did watch the morning skate update with him this morning on YouTube when the Detroit Red Wings YouTube channel posted it. He said, yeah, I didn't even like scream at the guy. Well, he did when the call was originally made, but when the ref overstated to give him the reason why, Lalone said that like it was like an even exchange, like it was so nice. And then he's like, yeah, I'm sure I'm gonna get a call from the league today and like discuss how like this isn't supposed to happen in the league. Like, we're supposed to have, like, a really good presidents as head coaches, the NHL isn't a league where coaches get angry. We're supposed to be calm-minded people. And it's like, well...
Have they ever watched the NHL and the coaches? I can tell you right now...
Can they define what the duty of a head coach is in the NHL? The duty of a head coach in the NHL is to fight for their players and win the game at whatever cost. Is that not exactly what a coach's challenge is? Challenging a dumb ruling by the referees? I think he was more than justified to do this. I think it's ridiculous that they would even tell him that, but I'm sure that's how that call went when he inevitably had it. I feel like it's just gotten to such a low point with officiating and really just goalie interference in general. I would not be surprised if the other team picked up the goalie and threw him out of the net and they scored a goal. I wouldn't be surprised if half the officiating crews called that a good goal and half didn't. Because it really feels like it's that way, where no matter, it really depends on whatever crew you get reffing that game. If you get the guys that are the best of the best, and they're the guys who do all the Stanley Cup finals and the playoff games and all that stuff, I think they would agree with Lalone's decision. And then you get this crew that did what they did. it's very unfortunate to me that this is such a subjective thing. And it's pretty shocking when Derek read off the definition of goalie interference that it's been around since the 90s. So they've essentially been getting this wrong consistently for 30 years. I feel like at that point, maybe just, if you can't get it right, maybe just remove the rule or just try and make a different rule regarding goalie interference. Like, redefine what the rule actually is. But, yeah, it's very shocking that this has been an issue for years and years and years and years. And it really doesn't seem like it's getting any better. It really seems like it's getting worse. So that's what sets a bad precedence in the league, is the officiating crews just cannot get this right whatsoever. Even when it seems blatantly like goalie interference, they still don't get it right. So what's the point of even calling it?
No, you're right. And, you know, the reason why they said it was a good goal is because they said that it was going to go in regardless if the other player was going to hit him. And it's like, okay, well, I don't know how you could just make a call like that. We've talked about that, right?
Like, do?
No, exactly. And these refs are very much like, it is subjective, the word that I want to use. Like, it's very much on their own, like, bias. Like, yes, like, it's just like, oh, I felt like that was going to go in. But if you would have had a different ref, they probably would have called it a different way. So you're right. Like, it's just they're very consistent at being inconsistent. I'm back on that grind now. Yes.
So, like, good to know it might go in. Let's see what happens if the guy didn't hit him. I mean, what would happen then? You don't know. We won't ever know now.
That a call that is that significant that can lead to a goal being allowed or disallowed is that subjective. I mean, it's almost as bad as pass interference in the NFL. Like, it really has gotten to that point where nobody knows what a completed catch is or interference is or what a completed goal is. I don't even know what a goal is anymore, to be completely honest with you. So
the world may never know.
We will never know. That's the $1 million question right there.
So let's go ahead and continue on. We're entering the third period of the game where it's tied 3-3 now. Perron gets his first goal to gain the lead, making it 4-3, but was quickly tied again to make it 4-4. This was when Perron
minute
just
20
took
later.
into his own hands. Yep, Perron took matters into his own hands, and he's like, hold my beer. I'm going dad mode.
Hold my baby.
Score two more. I mean, those were actually really good goals. The last one was actually it was a weird little backhander that like fluttered up.
It went in. That's all that matters.
No, I know. Yeah, a goal's a goal. We'll take it. And then Larkin was able to then finish it off with an empty netter, thus making it 7-4. Overall, Ned played one hell of a game. I forgot to mention that at the start. Ned played a really good game, in my opinion. Leslie, I know that you ripped on him for the power play goals. And I was like, okay, I see what you're doing now. You did that to me on the last episode.
That just kind of shows why he's a backup of the NHL, right? And why he's been in GR.
Sure.
It's like, you can't put Ned in and expect him to stand on his head and single-handedly get a shutout and win the game for you. It's just like, you're going to need to play your game. It's not like he's out there losing games for the team. Like, he's not letting in stinkers. Those were all good goals when I watched back the highlights. So, I get it. That's really more on the team. That's more on the team.
For the record.
Well, one of them, 3 of them was a good goal. One of them wasn't.
For the record, it says that no, I lied. Okay. He made 35 saves on 39 shots. His save percentage was .897.
Yeah, I mean, still, I don't know. 35 saves is 35 saves, you know? Like, they were definitely peppering the Red Wings.
No, it was. So, I mean, but that save percentage still is pretty booty. But 2 of those goals came on the power play, or maybe 3 of them did. But yeah, I mean,
if you're under 90%, it's not good luck for an NHL goalie.
No, 100%. That's what I'm trying to say is that, like, no matter what, like, I don't care if you're on the power play or the penalty kill, whatever you're on, as a goaltender, you have to be good enough to stop those too. Like, you can't just let those in and just say, oh, well, we're on the penalty kill. What do you want me to do? I can't save them all. Yes, you can.
I mean, that's
your
what
job.
we hired you for.
Yes, you can.
It's just like,
other than that,
when it's Nedeljkovic, you know, you can't really give him the benefit of the doubt, because if it's Huso having a performance like that, it's just like, well, that wasn't the best performance he's seen of Huso, but he's also still been solid as a rock this year. Ned's fighting for a job not only with the Red Wings, but in the NHL next year. So, unfortunately for him, if he's going out there and he's letting in anything shy of 1 or 2 goals, that doesn't look very good for him. So, I think overall he was solid, but for a guy like that, you really have to just scrape and claw for every win, and you have to look solid, because
that's what they did. Daddy Perron came in, took over. He was like, "Hold on, Ned, I got you, bud. I got you.
Yeah,
go dad mode." So yeah, Ned played one hell of a game, I thought. These are my overall thoughts. You guys can give your overall thoughts as well. I honestly thought this was one of the better Wings game that they played all year, even with all the injuries, to be honest with you guys. Disagree? Agree? One of the better games I've seen the Red Wings.
I mean, I'm going to follow the line right there with you, Zach. I agree with that. It was a good game for them. I mean, we had our down spot for maybe a little over half a period, I would say, in that second where they got back to back. But in all the Red Wings produced, they played like we all know they can actually play, and it looked like they were a solid team out there finally. Everyone was moving around. Everyone was connecting on their passes. Especially in that third period, it just was tic-tac-toe all the way across the board. It was beautiful. No one was missing up passes. That's exactly what we want to see as the Red Wings continue on. This is what I want to see next year right now. Like, keep this style of play, flip it over to next season, add a couple more better players that we have coming up. I think we're going to end up being just, woo. As long as we keep this play, it's going to be a nice chill for all of us when we watch them.
I'll be shocked if they keep up this style of play. But Leslie, yeah, would you agree with that?
Well, I mean, it's hard for me to say this is one of the better performances of the season when they just basically didn't play it all in the second period. But I guess if you take that period out, yeah, it looked pretty damn good. But I think this is just more of the Red Wings taking advantage of the fact that Pittsburgh's goaltending is complete and total booty cheeks. I mean, this Smith has more holes in him than the average Michigan road. It's terrible. I don't know why they didn't go out in free agency and address the biggest need, which is goaltending. There was goaltenders on the market. Korpisalo went to L.A. Vejmelka was on the market. Arizona absolutely would have taken whatever price for him. That was their biggest need, and they basically just went out and said, you know what? Let's go ahead and bring Nick Bonino back. Remember him? He was cool. He won cups with us. So, yeah, Pittsburgh looks atrocious. I don't know if they're completely out of the playoffs now, but it's definitely a bigger climb now, so that's pretty nice to see, to almost essentially knock them out of the playoffs. I really love seeing that. And it was a solid game based on what we've seen for the past month as far as the team goes. You know, it's a very depleted team, not only just with injuries, but you know, the trade deadline left us depleted too, so it's good to see the boys battle for a win. And I I don't know if I want to say keep it up, because we know what the prize is at the end of the tunnel, but it was nice to see, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, we'll touch on that here in a second. But Leslie, they're still in the second wild card standings. They're 3 points behind the Islanders, and they got 3 points on the Florida Panthers. Just to let you know. Penalties were still a huge
play hockey.
So penalties are still a huge issue with the team. I believe we gave them 6 penalties overall. I know that I said we gave them 5 alone in the second period. So yeah, like Leslie said, we didn't show up in the second, but overall I thought it was a good game. But to kind of wrap it up, let's go ahead and talk about the standings. So the Red Wings are now 8th to last. If you guys are not good with numbers, that means we are 25th out of 32 teams. So we got 73 points. Vancouver is ahead of us with 74. St. Louis with 74. And then Washington Capitals with 76. Below us, you got Philadelphia Flyers with 70. Arizona with 67. And Montreal with 66. None of the teams, the 3 teams below us, none of the 3 teams in front of us play. Actually, the Washington Capitals played today, so I lied. So it would be nice to see a win out of them, so that way they can move up. So that way, if we started winning more games, we're not necessarily moving up either. We're kind of staying complacent at where they're at. So hopefully we can do that. But yeah, all the other teams will be playing tomorrow. So keep an eye on those teams. You know, that's something that we're, as Team Tank, we're noticing these other teams. We have to start paying attention to these other teams and hoping and crossing our fingers that they win, but also hoping that we win at the same time. I'd be okay with 8th if we finish with 8th. Yeah?
I mean, from what I looked up already, 8th place means 5% chance of winning the draft lottery. That's higher than like 1.2 at 10. So, Bernard? I don't know.
Magic Conch Bedard.
All hail.
All hail. How do you feel about the standings, Leslie? 10, or how many games do we have left?
Like
I believe it's
8?
10. 9. We have 9 games
okay.
left.
I mean, we're going to draft wherever we're going to draft, and Bettman is going to say you better like it because this is all you're getting. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm okay with it now in this draft because there's so many studs in the top 10. Like, I feel like if you're in the top 10, you're going to get a really good player regardless. Now, that being said, the top 5 of this draft... Look, okay, so here's the top 5 of this draft. And with how good the top 10 is, the rest of the top 10 is here. Still good players, but that's the top 5. They're all incredible players. So, I don't know. Stevie's moved up in the draft before. He's got a lot of draft capital. He's got a lot of prospects. I'm just going to throw this out here. I'm not going to name any names, but there's a big logjam with Left D. He could move up into the top 5. It's not impossible. He's got the means to do it. So if we really are outside of, I guess if we're outside like the top 6, I would like to see him at least try, work the phones, see if anyone's interested, throw whatever
Leslie.
offer sounds good.
Yeah, you know what, Leslie? I'm interested now. Now that you're bringing this up, I have a little homework for you. On the next episode, when we record on Sunday night, I want you to come to me with 3 examples, or as many as you can find, that a team traded in the top 5 in the draft in the NHL, where teams traded out of the top 5 or teams traded into the top 5 of the draft. If you can find those for me when those happened, and bring that to the table on the next episode, I think that would be a good talking topic for us. Because I'm curious, and I'm sure some of our fans would want to know as well, if they're still listening to this episode.
If you are,
I
thank
graduated college, so I wouldn't have to do homework anymore, Zachary. If I wanted to still do homework, I'd be in grad school. But
You're
I
getting
will.
paid.
Okay, fair enough.
Derek,
I can't think of any examples off the top of my head. I will give you a counteroffer, though. I could give you 3 examples of trades that could get you there in the top 5. How about that? You like that?
Bring yours and bring mine next episode.
Oh, you just doubled your homework.
Yeah,
if I
Leslie,
do
way to
neither?
go, bro.
What if I do neither?
Chase takes your spot on the pod.
I
This is
mean,
bullshit.
we already
I'm gonna
promised him it.
demonize.
He did win in fantasy.
Okay.
Do you realize how bad that would be for both of you if he takes his spot and then he's getting on here going, the Avs are so good, McCarr, McKinnon.
That's when we just
I mean,
mute
I'd punch
him
his face
and
through the
turn the
screen.
video off.
I'd turn the video off. Not only that, but I'd go and DDoS him too.
Okay.
So,
before
I don't know
I
if you want
die of
that.
laughter, let's go ahead and end it off here.
if
The Wings
that-
play. No, Leslie.
the
The
other
Wings
option.
play back. The Wings play back to back on Thursday at 7:30 p.m. against the Carolina Hurricanes. They play Friday against the Winnipeg Jets at 8 p.m. And then on Sunday, when we record at 7 p.m., they play the Toronto Maple Leafs. So catch us next time here on Hockeytown University. Thanks for joining us once again. And as always, make sure you're subscribing if you're not already. Smash that like button and leave a comment. I can't stop laughing. Leslie, it's all your fault. And as always, go Red Wings, everyone. Take care. Final thoughts before we go?
Stay in school. Do your homework. Get an education.
That's a lie. Don't do that. Drop out. Become a banker. Hate your life. It's great.
Okay, we're
Yes,
going.
listen to
Bye,
what Derek said.
everyone.
I like that better.